Imagine a farm, isolated by forests and fields, where footsteps in the snow lead to a gruesome discovery, but no tracks lead away. This is the story of Hinterkaifeck, a place shrouded in mystery, where 6 lives were lost, and no one has ever answered for the crime. And yet, some say the murderer never really left. What happened on that cold night in 1922? Was it a random act of violence, or something far more sinister? Stay with us as we dig deep into one of Germany's oldest cold cases, a tale of suspicion, secrets, and shadows lingering nearly a century later. This haunting story has endured for so long because it encapsulates not just a crime, but the human emotions surrounding loss, betrayal, and fear that resonate deeply with anyone who hears it. It's a reminder of how ordinary lives can suddenly pivot into tragedy, leaving behind a chilling legacy. The Hinterkaifeck farm, located just 70 kilometers north of Munich, was home to the Gruber family. Andreas Gruber, a strict and reclusive man known for his harsh treatment of others, lived with his wife, their widowed daughter, Victoria Gabriele, and her 2 young children, 7-year-old Cecilia and 2-year-old Joseph. But this farm wasn't just isolated by geography, it was isolated by an aura of secrecy. Andreas was rumored to have had an incestuous relationship with Victoria, a dark secret that cast a shadow over the family. Some say these rumors led to their deaths. The Grubers were not well liked in their small community. Andreas was known for his violent temper and domineering personality. Victoria had been widowed during World War I, when her husband Carl Gabriel was declared missing in action. She had returned to live with her parents after his death, though rumors swirled that young Joseph might not be Carl's child at all. This was a family surrounded by whispers that would soon turn into screams. In the days leading up to the murders, strange things began happening on the farm. Andreas Gruber noticed footprints in the snow leading up to his house, but none leading away. He heard unsettling noises coming from the attic at night, but dismissed them as rats or animals seeking warmth in the cold winter months. More disturbing still was an unfamiliar newspaper found on the property, one no one in the family recognized. This newspaper wasn't local, it came from Munich, and no one could explain how it ended up at Hinterkaifeck. There were other strange occurrences too. The family keys went missing, and doors seemed to unlock themselves at night. But these eerie signs were brushed off as oddities at first. In hindsight, though, they were warnings, harbingers of something terrible. Andreas Gruber confided in neighbors about these strange events, but he never sought help from authorities. Perhaps he thought he could handle it himself, or perhaps he feared what might come if he dug too deep. Investigators later deduced that 4 members of the family were lured into the barn one by one and killed with a mattock, a brutal farming tool used for heavy labor. The killer struck each victim with precision, blunt force trauma to their heads. The remaining 2 victims, young Joseph and Maria Baumgartner, were murdered inside their home. Joseph was found dead in his crib. Maria Baumgartner lay lifeless in her bed, her life snuffed out before she even had time to unpack her belongings. But what's even more chilling, it seems that after committing these atrocities, the killer stayed on the property for days, feeding livestock, eating meals from the family kitchen as if nothing had happened. Neighbors reported seeing smoke rising from chimneys, days after they believed everyone inside was dead. Someone had been living there amidst all that horror. When police finally arrived at Hinterkaifeck days later, alerted by concerned neighbors, they were unprepared for what they found inside. Every member of the Gruber family lay dead from blunt force trauma inflicted by a mattock, a tool typically used for breaking hard soil or chopping wood, but now turned into an instrument of death. Blood covered both the barn and bedrooms, but crucial evidence was lost as curious neighbors trampled through every corner before police could secure it properly. Investigators lacked modern forensic techniques and mishandled key aspects of their investigation, leaving many questions unanswered. Could answers have been found had they acted differently? Could justice have been served? The crime scene was chaotic, and vital clues may have been destroyed forever amidst this confusion. With no solid leads or witnesses to speak of, suspicion quickly turned toward Lorenz Schlittenbauer, a neighbor who had close ties to Victoria Gabriel. Many believed he was young Joseph's father, born out of an illicit relationship between him and Victoria after her husband Carl Gabriel was presumed dead during World War I. Schlittenbauer's behavior after discovering the bodies raised even more suspicion. He seemed unusually calm, while others were horrified by what they saw. Some even claimed he acted as though he already knew what awaited them inside. But despite these suspicions and rumors that Joseph may have been his child, Schlittenbauer was eventually cleared due to lack of evidence. Still, doubts lingered among locals about whether he knew more than he let on. Could Lorenz Schlittenbauer have been involved, or did he simply know too much because he was too close? Another theory emerged, that Victoria's husband, Carl Gabriel, hadn't died during World War I after all, but had returned seeking revenge on his family. Some speculated that Carl had survived his reported death on the front lines and came back years later to find his wife involved with another man raising Carl's child as his own. But there was no solid evidence connecting Carl Gabriel or anyone else to these murders. This theory only deepened Hinterkaifeck's mystery, blending reality with superstition. Could Carl Gabriel have returned from war, a broken man driven mad by betrayal? Or was this simply another ghost story, spun out of desperation? In 2007, decades after police first investigated Hinterkaifeck, German authorities reopened this cold case, hoping modern forensic methods could finally provide answers. Forensic teams re-examined old evidence using DNA analysis techniques unavailable back then, but unfortunately, time had degraded much of what remained. Despite their best efforts, the DNA samples were too damaged, and once again, the case went cold. Even today, with all our technological advancements, we remain no closer to solving this century-old mystery than investigators were back then. The questions remain, but answers continue to elude us. As we stand today, we are left only with unanswered questions. Was this horrific crime committed by someone close to the Gruber family? Or could it have been an outsider, a drifter, passing through? Why did the killer stay behind at the farm, tending animals and eating meals, as if nothing happened? Some theorists now argue that the murders may have been the work of multiple people. Others suggest the psychological profile fits a drifter exhibiting psychopathic tendencies, but still, no definitive answer exists. The echoes of those fateful nights continue to haunt history books to this day. Did you enjoy our journey into this mysterious case? Please comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more mysteries, myths, and magic.